I hear people talking all the time about running various pedals at 18 volts rather than 9 volts. And I've actually never done it before, so let's check it out and see what the difference actually is, shall we? Now, not theoretically, what I'm told is running pedals at, there are, most pedals out there, of course, run on 9 volts, but there are some out there that can run on either 9 or 18. So, what I am going to do is try out a couple of those pedals that I happen to have in my own collection and see just what the difference is between 9 volts and 18 volts. For this demonstration, I am going to we're going to start with the Amp Tweaker Type Metal Pro, which of course does have that capability, because what capabilities doesn't the Amp Tweaker Pro have? Amp Tweaker Type Metal Pro, that is. And the power supply I'm using here is actually called the Palomino. The Palomino power supply, which is an isolated, it's got four outputs on it, true isolated power supply from Outlaw effects. And it's actually pretty inexpensive, and I needed something that, here for my desk, basically just to do pedal demos and stuff. And, I think this thing costs around $80 or so. Again, 4 power outputs, 4 9 volts, and on the last output, you can switch between 9 volts, 12 volts, and 18 volts. So should pretty much cover all the ground that I would need it to cover. And, so if you're looking for if you got a real small pedal board and you need a small power supply, you might check out the Palomino from Outlaw Effects. So far, I've been pretty pleased with it. And there's just a little switch over here on the side that allows you to select which voltage you need the 4th output to run on. So right now, I've got it set on 9 volts. Oh, and by the way, this handy dandy little desktop stand that I am running it on actually is not a pedal board. This is something called the MDS 100. It's called a modular stand. The MDS 100 is the model number from Ultimate Support, and this is really designed more for studio. It's definitely designed for studio use, but more for synthesizer people. There, you got those big module synths and stuff like that. This is a stand for you to place them on your desktop and get them upright so that they're not sitting flat. But it also serves my purposes as well as a good display to do pedal demos. What I am doing, I'm going to run. I've got my guitar going into the Type Metal Pro and then straight into the Focusrite 2i2 interface, which of course is running into Pro Tools as usual. The only thing that I have added here in Pro Tools is, I've got an IR, the 2 Notes Wall of Sound. I've got a cab IR from that I'm using to, for a cabinet, of course. And so beyond that, that is really about it. So here is my dry signal. And here's what the pedal sounds like running 9 volts into it. Sounds like the Type Metal Pro that I'm used to. So let's try it on 18 volts now. And before we just go, I'm going to shut the pedal off and disconnect the power, because there is a setting on here to run into 12 volts. And I don't want to accidentally shoot 12 volts in it when it's not made to run at 12 volts. All right, exact same thing. Now running at 18 volts. Whoa. Wow. That's pretty cool. What you guys saw was the first time I've ever done this. This is not something that I had done prior to turning on the camera. What you just saw was the first time I've ever done this. That's a big shock. That opens it up quite a bit more. It adds quite a bit more headroom. Just a lot more overall, balls, for lack of a better description. Let's try one more experiment with this. I'm going to try a different pedal. Okay, so, I love the Type Metal Pro. I've said over and over on my channel that it is my all-time favorite pedal. However, it's expensive. Not everybody's gonna own one of those. The OCD, on the other hand, is a little bit more common. I recognize not everybody's gonna own one of those either, but there are a lot more OCD owners than there are amp tweaker owners. So, let's face it, the OCD's become somewhat legendary here at this point, as it's on about its 28th iteration. But this one here is a version 1.4, which again is pretty common. So again, I have it running on 9 volts. Here's my dry signal. Sounds pretty good for straight overdrive. Again, now we are running at 18 volts. Pretty cool. Okay, the reason why I have never done this before is because, quite honestly, it's just not the most convenient thing in the world. And, all of my bricks and all that kind of stuff, some of them do have 18 volt outputs on them, but I'm constantly swapping pedals in and out and, changing things around all the time. and it's just not real convenient. But this setup, is going to give me a lot more flexibility and allow me to run a lot more things, a lot more pedals like this at 18 volts rather than 9. Which I am just now discovering is actually really, really cool, because the word on the street is correct. This is absolutely opens things up quite a bit. Gives you a lot more headroom, particularly with distortion and overdrive pedals, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I will be using 18 volts on pedals that allow it anyway. By the way, don't go running full 18 volts into a pedal that's only designed to take 9. You're going to smoke the pedal if you do that. But on pedals that will allow it, I will be running 18 volts a lot more frequently than I certainly have in the past. So there you have it. I've never experimented with this before. I thought it would be a cool, fun, quick little video. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something out of it. I know I did. Leave me a comment down below. Please let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell icon right next to it. And I'll list links to all of the gear, including the OCD, the Amp Tweaker Type Metal Pro, the Outlaw FX Palomino power supply, and of course the Ultimate Support MDS 100 modular stand down in the description, so that you can check all that stuff out, as well as everything else I used in this video. So thank you so much for watching. Adios.